Hey guys, welcome back. In this part I'm going to finish up this level because, as I mentioned before, we need the key from here. For some reason the game only requires keys 3 and 8 to open the final battle, so I need to make sure that I get both of those. So just getting some moves here. Here's Shimmy and Slam, which obviously I could already do thanks to the Funky Weapons glitch, but Cranky has to give it to you again before you can actually buy moves from him. So like I said before, the point is for this playthrough is to number 1 open the final battle, and number 2 be able to actually compete in it, which means I'm going to have to buy certain moves for all the Kongs. For Chunky I'm going to need Hunky Chunky and Primate Punch, both of which I can buy right now. The final battle does require Gorilla Gone as well, but you don't actually need to buy that. The pads will work whether you've bought it or not, so I don't have to worry about that. And it's the same for Donkey Kong's Baboon Blast. Is that the right term? Yeah, Baboon Blast, the thing with the barrels. And for some reason the game just lets you go in them. You don't actually need to have the move. I guess because there's no pad involved that time. So that's everything that I'm going to need for Chunky right now. I don't need to get anything for DK, but I do need to get something as lanky real quick. His instrument is required for the final battle, but nothing else is. So I can just quickly grab that from Candy, and I can get on with it. People have been asking what happens if you actually enter the final battle without having all the Kongs unlocked. The answer is yes, that is possible. And when you do it, the game gives you all the Kongs, but as I mentioned a minute ago, there's certain moves that you need to actually defeat the boss. So unless you've unlocked the Kongs previously so that you can buy those moves and instruments, then you're pretty much stuck in the final battle. You can't fight him at all. So that's everything I need to buy right now. That's everything I can buy right now, really. I'm going to switch to Chunky. Unfortunately, his double is now gone because I entered the loading zone. Of course the banana's still there because I haven't collected any. So I need to jump in here and fight Mad Jack. And I don't have Tiny Kong, so I'm going to do it as Chunky. He's the next easiest one to do it as because his jump, as you can see, actually was pretty far. So I'm just going to clip through this thing by killing his momentum with C up. Hopefully when he's like right over the part where the top of this meets and the side of it meets. That was an awful sentence. Because there's like a very, very thin gap that you can fall through. It's pretty precise. Just inching him over until he falls through. I'm going slightly too far every time here, that's why he hasn't gone in yet. I really thought that was it there. I really don't like this trick, it's just never consistent for me. There we go. So now I'm inside, I can just head behind the door, don't have to pay him a single banana. And obviously I'm Chunky Kong when you're supposed to be tiny here. I'm gonna exit though, so I don't have to watch this cutscene. This is totally unnecessary, but whatever, I don't want to have to watch it. Hopefully I can get it quicker this time. Excellent. So yet another thing that the DK rap lied about is Chunky's jump. He's actually probably the best Kong for that in the game. Except for Tiny, of course, with the ponytail twirl, because just it's so easy to like make all of these jumps. So I'm pretty much just gonna fight him normally. Okay, it's right here. That's pretty good luck. I'm gonna let him throw this at me first, because I am terrified that he's going to knock me out of the air. I swear his first 3 rounds are a lot harder than the last 2. In the last 2 he shoots a laser at you, but in this one, and the 2 after it, he shoots fireballs at you and they're pretty hard to dodge. Don't like what the camera's doing right now, I'm going to move into the middle. Increases my chance of being close to where the thing spawns anyway. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait for him. In my last series I did this fight as Diddy Kong just because he would have otherwise not had a fight. Because I did Diddy Kong's intended fight as Tiny. But doing it as Chunky now, it's like so much easier. Like there's just no way he's ever gonna not make it to the next platform, which was always a concern with Diddy. I've gotten pretty reasonable luck here. I can't really complain about that. And most importantly, I haven't fallen down yet, which is the best part. So here are the last 2 rounds. Nothing difficult about them at all. Much easier, I would say. I guess his pattern is a little more spontaneous. He can backtrack now, which he never used to be able to do. But other than that, same stuff. Like he might bounce around for a little bit longer. I'm just waiting for him to land now. Sometimes he jumps faster than other times, and that's because of like... I'll just wait here. It's because of like the distance between you and him. If there's a greater distance, he's able to do quicker jumps to catch up to you. In a speedrun we would try and manipulate him so that he does those most of the time. But it can be quite risky to do that, so I'm probably not going to bother too much. So last round, he's now invisible. Not that it makes it any harder because we can still see him. Just going to play it safe and keep going around in a circle, I think. I've come this far without falling down. I'm going to make it all the way. Okay, it's right here, so I'm going to let him shoot his laser at me. And that's Mad Jack done. And one of the keys necessary to open the final battle have now been, well, they're about to be collected. However, keys 3 and 8, even though they're the only ones that are actually necessary, they're not the only ones that I'm going to collect here. Because the trick that I'm going to use to unlock the other Kongs that I don't yet have, Diddy and Tiny, involves going to one of the later levels, so I'm going to do that now. So let's see, I'm going to stay as Chunky because he's the Kong that I'm going to need in just a second. I'm never going to have to come back up here, so I won't bother activating Warp 4. But I am going to activate Warp 2, because I will need that. And I'll activate these 2, I guess. Just for some shortcuts later on. So the next thing I'm going to do is head to Fungi Forest. The reason for that is because eventually I'm going to go to Creepy Castle, the last main level of the game. And in order to unlock that, I need to have Fungi Forest unlocked. Because you have to fight the boss from there to unlock Creepy Castle. And you can only do that as Chunky, which is why I had to get him before I can do any of this. Of course, I haven't actually unlocked Fungi Forest, as you can tell. I haven't turned in any keys, so there's no way that I could have unlocked it, so I'm going to use a trick to get up there prematurely. If I take these rocks on top of the instrument pad, and it really is awesome that there's 2 of them, because this wouldn't really be possible or feasible if there was only one. I can just stack them on top of each other. And it's pretty amazing just how well this all works out actually, because there's a dirt patch on top of the Aztec lobby, which is going to give us some more coins that we're going to need to buy some more stuff later on. Sometimes he doesn't want to drop it. You have to just get him in the right part. He's not going to do it there. Let's try it from this side. There we go. So now I'm going to switch out to DK. And I'm going to do some pretty crazy tricks. I went the wrong way. To make it up to Fungi. Hopefully I can get this on my first try. This can be a bit tricky. But I have practiced it, and I did show it off in my last series. Before I do that, I'm gonna get this dirt patch, which nobody ever usually gets, because who the hell is gonna come up here? I think they intended you to like get up here with Diddy's jetpack or something, but I don't know why anyone would bother. So I'm just doing moon kicks to try and make my way onto the main part of the island. I'm just gonna do a bunch more of these. Fortunately, this whole thing is really sloped, which makes these moon kicks pretty easy to do. And the last one, if I do it properly, should take me all the way up to Fungi. Unfortunately, this is also the hardest one to do. No! Oh well. I got close. That's okay. That's not as okay. Actually, yes it is, because I activated Warp 3, so it's not a problem. See, I knew that would come in handy. Now I can just go back and do it again. But yeah, like I said, the trick is pretty hard to do sometimes. Pretty much just that last part of it. And the rocks are still here, which is great. If you leave them for a long time, they sometimes collapse into each other. I think it's to do with the fact that the top rock loads before the bottom one or something. And like it falls in before the bottom one loads. Obviously, I really don't want that to happen. That moon kick there is a pain in the ass to start as well sometimes. I don't know why, because the slope is pretty steep. There's definitely enough lag as well if you point the camera at the island, which I was doing. Okay, so take 2. Oh, I didn't think I got it, but I did. Should have more faith in myself. Okay, cool. So I can just use the lag to make sure I get over here. And here's another dirt patch, which is going to give me all the coins that I need. So I'm going to need Chunky, so I'm just going to switch to him right... Actually, no, that's silly, because he's a lot slower than DK on land. So I'm going to go in as DK and switch to Chunky just when I need him. This is possible. There we go. Kind of tricky to do that one because the camera sucks. It's fixed at the other side of the B-locker, so you can't really see DK as you do that. But whatever. Welcome to Fungi Forest. We are not going to spend a lot of time here, which kind of sucks because this is pretty much the best part of the game, but whatever. This is a demonstration of some really cool glitches. If you want to appreciate the whole level, go watch my other playthrough. I'm just going straight to the boss, which is in here. And we need Chunky to fight him. Even though you can do some of the bosses as other Kongs, there's some that you do need to do as specific Kongs because of the abilities that are required. For instance, in this one we need Hunky Chunky, which I just bought in factory. So I need to do this one as him. Okay, that wasn't as bad as the factory one. And the key from this place is going to let me access Fungi Castle, and we will see later why that's so important. Chunky kind of sounds like Scooby-Doo when he's scared. He's definitely the best Kong. Definitely has the most personality. Funniest. Okay, so really easy fight, as long as you know what you're doing. First part of it's just typical DK64, wait it out and throw a barrel at something. This part of the game's really loud as well. I guess I'm going to talk a little louder here just to be sure that everyone can hear me. Had some problems with that recently. So how is this round any different? Well, he does it twice. It is exactly as easy as it was before. Let's do this one quickly actually because I don't want to get hit first. So yeah, I mentioned that this fight is easy if you know what you're doing. The second half of the fight involves being giant chunky. and you're supposed to like punch him until he dies. A common misconception there is that you're supposed to use Primate Punch, where you hold Z and press B. That doesn't do anything, it doesn't attack him any more than a regular punch does, it just makes it a lot slower, and it pretty much guarantees that you're going to die when the platform sinks. So if you're doing this fight and you're having trouble with it, just make sure that you keep spamming the B button and don't press C at all. You're going to take damage here, it's pointless to try and avoid it. And this will be the second part of the fight about to start. And this was a lot funner than the first half, because the first half, as I said, is just typical DK64 nonsense. This one, there's actually a risk of you dying. Unfortunately, there's more of this crap before we get to that. I wonder if I'm repeating myself from when I did this in the other playthrough. I can't remember what I said there. I know that was the video that I had to do on emulator. But I guess it's nice to do this one on console. So if I get perfect hits every time, I got perfect hits that time by the way, because I was able to hit him the maximum number of times before Chunky goes small. If I get that every round, then I can kill him in 3 rounds. If not, it's going to take 4. So that's 1 round done. Oh god, I think I might have screwed myself over. Yep, I missed 2 perfect hits there. It's probably going to take 4 rounds now. It's probably a bad idea to like hold the control stick when you're actually next to him, because then he can do that spin thing that he just did. Oh, never mind, I did get 3 rounds. I guess it's not quite as hard as I thought it was. Well, that's awesome. So key 5, I'm going to go turn this in right away. As soon as he dies and gives it to me. Any minute now. I wonder if that's like a Terminator 2 reference. Where his hand's like sticking out. Never noticed that before. So now I can regrettably leave Fungi Forest. Something that's weird actually, the coins don't seem to appear whenever you've paused the game. You can't press R to like go to the totals part. I guess that doesn't appear until you get a single banana. Cause, yeah, that sort of makes sense actually, because you're not supposed to get any coins until then. The first coins that they expect you to get are in Jungle Japes, so... Anyway, I'm gonna go turn in this stuff now. I'm gonna switch out to DK. Because he's the fastest call on land, and that's gonna be helpful in a couple of minutes. I'll just activate this first. So, visiting Key Lumsey for the first time, even though I've already got 2 keys to hand in to him. Pretty weird cutscene. And of course he's going to open Jungle Japes now, but I'm not going to bother going in. Because as I mentioned before, the only purpose that going into Jungle Japes could serve in this run is to free Diddy Kong, but that can't be done without collecting the banana in front of his cage. And our goal here is to finish the game with 0% and 0 golden bananas. So we can't have any of that. So automatically it turns in the key. And it always goes in descending order for some reason. If you come in here with keys 3 and 4, it'll do 4 then 3. And this is going to open Crystal Caves, which I'm not going to bother going into, there's no need for that. Plus it's a terrible level and everyone hates it. And it's also going to open Creepy Castle, which is an awesome level. But there's only one thing that we really need to go in there for. Well actually no, that's not true, there's 2 things. One of them's obvious, one of them's not as obvious, but we'll see both of them in just a second. So I'll just quickly turn on key 3 as well. No cutscene this time because keys 3 and 8 don't have cutscenes by themselves. So with 0 golden bananas, I'm now about to enter Creepy Castle, the final level of the game. That in itself is pretty cool. Of course, B-Locker is useless as always, and I can just clip right past them. But this one's probably the hardest one in the game to do that on, except for the Frantic Factory one. If you can just get yourself in there. Obviously sometimes DK is gonna kick, because he's an asshole. Okay, cool. There we go. That's the last time I'm gonna have to do that. So, Creepy Castle. Very laggy place. And like I mentioned before, don't worry that I'm picking up these bananas. These do not count for anything. The goal of this run is to finish without any golden bananas, and also to finish with 0%. And these things do not count towards your percentage unless you get 75 of them for the golden banana. So I'm going to activate these warps, just because. I don't think all of them are required, but let's not take the risk. Oh, the drawbridge came up. I was going to show off that you can actually just jump right across there if you point the camera towards the castle, because it creates so much lag that you can really easily get across there. So I need to slowly go up the castle. I can't use Diddy Kong's jetpack because of course I don't have Diddy Kong, and I also don't have his jetpack. So I'm not really trying to avoid these bananas. I just kind of am. Okay. So I don't need to bother switching to Lanky. The game is going to give me Lanky as soon as I go in here, because that's who you're supposed to start this fight with. It's actually a fight that requires all Kongs, or not requires, but it uses or can use all Kongs. And this is how we're going to unlock the remainder of them. If I can ever just get in here. Okay. So King Cutout, as I mentioned, this fight uses all of the Kongs. What happens is, if you shoot one of your Kongs over the boundary by accident, then the game automatically gives you the next Kong in the list. You start with Lanky, so if I were to like get him killed by accident, of course, then the game would give me Tiny Kong. Whether I have her unlocked or not, the game just assumes, I guess fairly enough, that if you get the Creepy Castle, then you have all the Kongs. But that's not the case for me. It's about to be though. Here's Tiny. I don't want her just yet though. I want someone else first. So I'm just going to keep doing this until the game gives me Diddy Kong, which is going to be the last one. I'm going to have to do it twice anyway, and the game forces you to be Lanky every time you come in regardless. So it's going to take this many tries no matter what I do. And now I'm Diddy Kong, unlocked without collecting a single banana. Just to make sure that I definitely have him, I'm going to jump in the tag barrel. And just come back out. Squawks is going to talk to me. Now Diddy is a completely playable character. So I'm going to pop back inside with him. I think this thing's a little harder as him because he's like so small. Or maybe I'm talking nonsense, I don't know. Hang a minute now. Wow, this is pretty ridiculous. Okay, cool, finally. So this time I'm going to leave as Tiny Kong, so that I have everyone unlocked. And then I can go and finish up getting all the moves that I need. So, as I said before, starting out as Lanky, because that's just what the game does. Get rid of him. And now I'm Tiny Kong. I just exit the level with her. Now, one weird side effect to doing this is that some of the things for Tiny don't actually load in the level, or at least they don't appear to load. They actually are there. As you can see, there is nothing in front of me, but if I walk on this path, I actually start to collect her bananas, which are still here. They're just invisible. So that's a pretty weird side effect. And here's Cranky's. I'm going to activate this warp because I'm going to want to switch out to someone else later. So I need to buy all the things that I need for Tiny to do the final level and the final boss battle. This is one of them. The barrel would just be greyed out if I didn't have this move in the Kiro fight. I don't think I'm going to need Ponytail Twirl, but of course you need to buy them all in order. And I guess it could help when getting into Hideout Helm. This is going to be Super Simian Slam. The reason that it's given me this move is because I'm in the last level, so the game assumes that I've been to Fungi, which is true, and also caves, which isn't true. And this means that I can buy the moves that he normally gives you in caves, like Monkey Port, and that was why it was so important for me to have exactly 20 coins or more, I guess, because I now have 0 with Tiny, but I also have everything that I'm going to need with her, so that's fine. So, I'm going to switch out to Diddy now and go and collect the things for him that I need. That was why I activated all these porters. I guess these two weren't actually necessary, but no big deal. As you can see, the coins and everything still aren't showing. I can't change the screen or anything. Oops. Come on, Diddy. So I need to buy Rocket Barrel with him. It's actually the only one that I need. And Chimpy Charge just comes in the list before that, so I gotta buy that too. Even though it's not necessary in the fight. But the jetpack is, and as is the case with Tiny, the barrel would be greyed out if I didn't have this move. Don't need to bother with Simian Spring, I'm not going to need it. So I can just exit the level now. Because I have everything already that I need to actually do the final battle, I just need to unlock it now, which means there's only one thing left for me to do. And that is to go to Hideout Helm and get Key 8. When I turn that in, the final battle will be unlocked. And I have all the Kongs, and I have all their moves, and most importantly, I have 0 golden bananas. So I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to finish this up. Thanks for watching.